in at the same time. Our broadcast is live, and this is debate, the grand debate #1 for the online Masjid, which is right now in its present state, a Facebook group that we started about a month and a half ago. And the Facebook group we started because we realized that less than 10% of the Muslims inside the United States actually go to the Masjid. And when I say they don't go to the Masjid, I'm talking about on the absolute busiest time when people are there, like Eid. When you see everybody at the Masjids, that's only 10% of all the Muslims in this country. That denotes that there's a problem and something's broken and it needs to be fixed. And the online Masjid is a concept that maybe the solution is to have a 100% online Masjid that can reach everybody everywhere and hopefully solve a lot of the problems that they're having. So the debate is simply a simple format. First off, we just want to introduce everybody introduce themselves. Then after that, we're going to go into round #1, which is pretty much, we're going to take the top topics off of the online Masjid group. We're going to use the top 3 topics. We're going to do, first everybody give their opinion on it independently. And then after you give your opinion on it, we have a 5-minute just open floor on that topic before we move on to the next topic. And then when we hit the last topic, we'll close out the session. And the discussion back and forth is going on the online Masjid group itself, where everybody can have a bigger discussion online. So at this time, can we get everybody to introduce themselves? Start with Abdul Kareem. If you can introduce yourself, I appreciate it.
Abdul Kareem Khan, Bay Area, in Reville right now, but Oakland, Bay Area. And that's born DC, grew up in Chicago, member of a larger, greater Muslim community, half South African, half African American, and investor, technology guy, ex-Apple, helps from YouTube, Ziggy people, doing some stuff with some others, Twitter, Facebook, and raising a fund, involved with Masjid to help pay for a couple, inshallah. I think online Masjid is a good supplement, but there's nothing more important, even as a technical person, and being in person with the people there, bringing real money, bringing some real help, and I think a digital ummah can supplement for those who are shut in to be geographically distributed in a way, but I think an online Masjid can only be a supplement. It cannot be the main thing. If 10% of the people don't come, that's more than the 5% who changes the world anyway. So, alhamdulillah, they don't need to come anyway because they probably just did wait, just like in tech.
Sorry. Did we fix some of our microphone problems, Adrian? Adrian's having microphone problems, man. We can't hear him. I wish we could read lips. We'd be good.
Adrian's having microphone problems.
Oh, we still can't hear you, Adrian. You got to go into the settings on Google Hangout. Go into the settings on Google Hangout. It's that little crane looking thing on the top left. And choose your microphone. And the time when you start talking, it'll show you some colored buttons right by that microphone, let you know that you actually can be heard.
Colored buttons right by that microphone, let you know that you actually can be heard.
Okay. And I wish I knew better, but I can at least say that the brother in the other window is Adrian Jones. And this is going to be a short debate with some very short opinions. I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but I guess I'll be giving my opinion today. So I'm actually going to read Adrian's post. I got you covered, brother. Adrian says that I don't think it's a bad idea. We just don't want to brush the physical. We don't want to brush the idea. Let's see, brush the idea of the men needing to go physically in person as the commands are given. My name is Ab Jalil.
Channel 28, Cable 78. I just had another one on KRN2.
My name is Ab Jalil, or Adrian Jones, former escrow specialist, and run a Muay Thai and mixed martial arts promotion called Supreme Striking. Gotcha, Adrian. Gotcha, brother. So welcome. And like I said, we're going to see if we can get some more people in. But right now, we're going to go ahead and start the debate. The first thing we want to do is there's a topic, and it's pretty bad that Jay seemed like he tried to get in and had some technical difficulties. Maybe he'll be able to join us back in, because the first thing that we're going to talk about is his post. And like I said, I'm not going to actually be writing. I'm going to actually just be responding, reading Adrian's post. As he posts, I'll be talking for him. If that's okay with you, Adrian, give me a thumbs up. Got you. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to read it directly from his post. Now, this post got 39 comments. It was a whole big back and forth. And the brother reads, Assalamu alaikum, I have issues. I am so tired of people in the Ummah trying to tell me how to wear my beard, and they bring Sunnah into it. I like to braid my beard. My beard is not the thing to get me into Jannah. I am so tired of culture being imposed on me. I do not wear gold. I do not eat pork. I do my best to make my 5 prayers a day. I fast. People in the Ummah won't let me believe in Allah and His Prophet. I am so tired of it. I will never leave the deen, but I am tired of other brothers all in my grill. I do not drink. I am a decent person. I am not perfect, but I know I have a bigger heart than others in my ummah. There are times I want to lash out at brothers, but I know it is wrong. Then now, if other brothers see this, they would say I'm backbiting. It is a sin to vent and look for answers. I think we use the Sunnah and Hadith to extreme. What do you think? I am a Muslim that is in the quest for real truth. So I'm going to toss this on the floor and, of course, get the first response from Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim, you're going to have to unmute yourself, man, on the button up there. You're going to unmute yourself so that we can hear you. But the question that really is on the floor here is one that we've been handling inside the online Masjid group for a second now.
All right, I'm going to say
and
this.
The issue is that brothers are very judgmental, man. So go ahead. I'm going to give you 1 minute uninterrupted. Abdul Karim, give me your point of view.
Ain't brothers who are the hypocrites are. I'm going to call it what it is. This is called being a cargo culture Muslim. It's ignorant people who don't know Islam, opposing a cargo culture. And it comes from a term for the island people who saw an airport and said, well, maybe if I put some plane-shaped buildings there and gods, they thought the airplanes were gods, and just dressed like this, I would be having an airport too. It's not. These people think you have the appearance of not even with Islam. That's the taqleed culture. Blind following, and it's asabiyah. Tribal partisanship. That ain't got nothing to do with the deen. He should know more about Islam. Now let these people worry him, or do like I do. I whip them with the Quran every time they bring that to me, and I'll whip them hard. So that's what you do. And if you let them people run over you, you're going weak anyway. First thing, I whip them so hard, they go away from me because I don't want to be around fools like that, because you're like those who you're with. So your problem is, just like Ali told the evil people he was under, is that problem was, a prophet was over people like me, and I'm over people like you. And the problem is, you don't put them in line. Because one of the prophets, he said, what do you do when someone actually, you help your brother be right or wrong? When he's wrong, prevent him. I'll be upset that verbally and semantically and emotionally they hear so bad, they will never bring that to me.
10 seconds, Abdul Karim.
10 seconds, Abdul Karim.
You good?
So that's what he should do. Come from the Quran and Sunnah. And the prophet used to do that with the extremists. He make them, oh, you can fast all day, so fast all day. Fast every day. He would make them carry them stones like the Jews did.
I'll give you.
So,
Adrian.
Stones here. I'm gonna make the rule hard on you.
This is Adrian. So I'm gonna read Adrian's post, and I'm gonna try to be as passionate as Brother Abdul Karim was in his explanation and breathing Brother Adrian's out. So if I'm misrepresenting you, Adrian, then you need to just go ahead and wave your hand like this, say hell no. And then if not, just go ahead and give me one of those. All right, so verse says, Adrian says, they just love you for the sake of Allah. But people should not throw stones in the glass house. We all have shortcomings. They should not attack, but bring you in and look for something common between you. That's what makes you brothers, not your difference.
I'm gonna call
So
BS
now we
on
got
that.
one more person just jumped in. Let's go ahead and make Amir. How you doing, man? Can we get a mic check on Amir? Amir. Amir, if you're having any problems with your microphone, you can type it in on the left-hand side, and I'm gonna let Abdul Kareem represent whatever you type. Give a shout on your microphone, because now what we're doing is we're gonna open the floor up. Abdul Kareem, like I said, I'm representing Adrian, so you're gonna have to type real fast, and Amir, you're gonna have to type real fast, and I'll try to represent you, man. But what it seems like what we got going here is Abdul Kareem, you got the floor, man, and we're gonna run at it. It's 5 minutes to debate the point.
I'm gonna come at it. First thing is, if they loved you, they would be gentle with you like the believer is supposed to do. Number two, braids in your beard. The prophet had braids in his hair. He was flossing. So that's the sunnah. Actually, he had 2 braids. He whipped them around and put his helmet on. So what you talking about? You can braid your beard. There's nothing that says you could or cannot braid your beard. So guess what? Keep it moving, player. I give him a tackling check and keep it moving.
Okay, now we got some mic from Amir. Amir, I just heard you, man. If you can go ahead and chime in, we can hear you just fine. You might want to move a little bit closer to your computer so we can hear you.
Hold on, I'm gonna grab my headphones.
Okay. And I'm gonna toss in. I'm gonna defend Adrian's point because he's not typing. Adrian, you're not typing fast enough, man. You're supposed to be quick on the fingers. I'm trying to orate and stuff. It ain't even working out. You know. So here's my point. Okay, I'm gonna throw in a little bit on my side. Now, as far as loving you for the sake of Allah, that sounds good. But you know, I'm a father of 8, and last I checked, you know, even if I want to drag my kids around their house by their neck, they're not gonna listen to me if I don't come to them with some real love. And you gotta feel love. You know what I mean? If a brother don't feel love, all you're doing is pushing them out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes brothers, they see things that are different. And hold on, I'm gonna tell Adrian. He says he's right. I'm just saying they need to look for common words. So Adrian is saying that you're right, but people need to look for common words in order to explain how they feel. You know, but I'm saying that I think that brothers, it's something else. I don't think brothers coming from a place of love. I think brothers are coming from a place of pure envy. You know, not having freedom to express themselves like they want to, and get mad at other brothers because they do. You know, not having any gauge for a person's level of deen in their heart, or knowing nothing, not taking a second to go to their house, figure out who they are or whatever, and know anything about them. You automatically passing judgment just because a brother come in. It's because you haven't accomplished enough in your life otherwise that you're trying to close off this little place called the Masjid and tell everybody else they don't belong just so you can feel big and good, when what you need to do is go home and make some accomplishments in the world. And that little place would not have the same significance that it does. That's my opinion on it. You know, Brother Amir, we welcome you to jump in, man.
What's the topic about?
So the topic is Brother Jay Evans posted on the online Masjid group on Facebook. He said that basically he was tired of being judged by brothers. Brothers have an issue with him braiding his hair, him braiding his beard. They got an issue with the way he looks overall. My man said, I don't eat no pork, I don't have no gold teeth, I ain't got nothing this going on, but brothers are just picking them for whatever reason, and I don't want to leave the deen, but it sure as hell feels uncomfortable going into the masjid.
Right. Well, I've been to a few different masjids, you know, and I have noticed like some of the Arab masjids, you know, they look at you kind of funny when you walk in there and your beard ain't all the way out here and you're not in a thobe, and
I think we lost him, man. You went out on us, brother. But I'm gonna take this chance to get Adrian's words in. Adrian says sometimes the brother at Masjid Abu Bakr disrespected my beard, and I had to tell him, "Oh, you shaved your beard. It was stated to pluck it." and he left it alone. So basically, Brother Adrian is saying if you challenge a brother and where he screwed up, you know, basically his brother's trying to pick out. But I'm sorry, Brother Amir, we got you back in? Amir? All right, I'm going to take the chance. Abdul Kareem, you got some closing comments on this topic before we move on?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say this. We should ignore ignorance like that. First thing, if a fool walks up to me and understand when you're doing wrong, the Prophet Hadith is, you're not a believer. And when you're doing wrong to me, and I give you heat, I give you response, I'm feeding you. You should ignore a person doing something like that. I'm not going to answer some stupid stuff like that. I'd be like a dude walk up on the street talking crazy, he's crazy. Let me answer. You should have the adab and the discipline to say, when a fool says something stupid you like that, you ignore him and walk by a fool with honorable avoidance. Example of that. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Omar, a man came and started cussing Abu Bakr, astaghfirullah, not Omar. And the man kept cursing him and cursing him. The Prophet was right there. He didn't say nothing. Abu Bakr looked at the Prophet and said that. Then he responded because Abu Bakr was known to have mouthpiece. He'd come at you hard. So he literally came back hard at him. At that point, the Prophet wrapped the scope around him and walked away. Abu Bakr went over, asked him later, radiallahu anhu, peace and blessing of Allah be upon the Prophet Muhammad, and he said, "Why didn't you say something?" He said, "Because while I was watching you, the Prophet, the angels were writing your deeds down as good deeds, and giving you blessings. When you stopped, they stopped and left, so I left." Man, we have a limited life. Who got time to add gas to the fuel of food?
So, Amir, I'm giving you a last position too. If your mic is working, brother, we chiming in on the issue of brothers judging other brothers and correcting them for the way that they dress and the way that their appearance is when they come into the masjid. What is your opinion on it, brother? Closing comment.
I've been through a few masjids, and when I first took my shahada, I would go to different masjids, and I have noticed a difference between some of the Arab brand masjids and maybe like the Barfdeen masjids. The Arab masjids is not really a welcoming. It's not very welcoming. Sometimes people don't really congregate after Juma like we do at the Barfdeen masjid, and you get looked at differently. I come in there, my bed's not all the way. I'm saying, I ain't got the Philly Sunni bed, and I'm not wearing a thobe, so they're looking at me, and you can tell they're judging. Half of the time they don't even give you salams, and it's just a different atmosphere, and I know that that's not part of the sunnah. We all know that, and that's just really all I have to say. I notice a difference, and I know that it exists, especially in some of the Arab masjids.
So now we're gonna close that point out, man. I think we all have our position on that. It ain't that much different. But now we're gonna move on to the next one. And here it is. This is something that I brought up. And I am trying to it got the second amount. That brother got 39 comments on his. There's 34 comments on this particular post. I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to see if I can summarize it. Well, it's not that bad. All right, so it says, my father, Imam Abdul Kareem, and his close friends were standing outside of a mosque in downtown Atlanta where 2 months earlier, a gay lounge had been erected 3 doors down. A group of transvestite men walked out of the club, and my father's friend decided to approach him. I'm looking for a non-biased understanding, he says. Why do you do this? Why do you want to dress like women when you are men? I sincerely don't understand, and I would like to. One of the men replied, I figure we all get one major sin in life. This is mine. Do you ever think of coming back to the Lord? My father's friend asked. How? Asked the transvestite. These breasts are real. The question is here, this man would never walk into a physical masjid for fear of ridicule by the community. His life choices have restricted his comfortable access to the masjid. No masjid wants to truly talk to gay people. They shun the topic like the plague. But many brothers and sisters have this inclination. Do you think that the online masjid should have content catered to people who have chosen a homosexual lifestyle. And that gives everybody they got the 1 minute round first, no interruptions, starting with Brother Abdul Kareem.
I'll go first on that one. So I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I feel like it is not about catering to one person as in the masjid, but in our adab and our interaction with everyone, we should offer them remedies from the Quran and Sunnah in a good manner. The Prophet, when he dealt with sick people, remember the cat who used to throw thorns in his way, throw trash on him? They threw an animal on him when he was praying. The people were sick. But he didn't go off on them. He said, look, I'm going to offer you the best. And that adab invited people to al-Islam to think that which is best. Now, I ain't catering to nobody specifically, and I'm not going to take the approach where one imam I'm not going to name said, well, he had a shotgun approach, and he damn near blew his community away. I'm saying, when you see somebody, adab means doing things in the right manner, in the right way, at the right time. So what you do is, you give them an advice in the right manner that you know can offer them better. Like when I see a woman who's got her body uncovered, I say, sister, you're so beautiful. I love you when you wear a scarf or a hat. And I always compliment women when they actually have their hair covered, because women do that for attention. So give them positive attention. Same thing with men. Say, man, you know, I'd like to introduce you to a real strong sister. Because that's all they're really looking for, a strong sister, because they've been through some things. A third of them been sexually abused. So that's what the fear comes from, that abuse. And we need to deal with the abuse, which leads to that.
All right,
I'm looking for Adrian's response, and I have it here, so I'm going to read it out. Brother Adrian says, the truth is you have to have an open heart and allow the message to reach everyone. The Prophet ﷺ had to give you the deen before he went to war with you. You cannot claim to be under the guise of God if you can't approach everyone under the sun. Give him the deen, drag him to it like he had an ironclad around his neck. Put in the effort before you judge. Now listen, I want to chime in on this one too, but I'm just going to add some fuel to the fire. I understand Brother Abdul Kareem is living in San Francisco and I'm living in Atlanta. So we both live in the homosexual capital of the United States of America. I think we got you beat now, actually, brother. I think we got you beat. I think, you know, I've seen the parade last year, man. I'm pretty sure we got San Francisco beat. You know, this is a sensitive topic, man. You know,
people come here, and that's okay. Allah has given them the right to choose whatever lifestyle, and He's a judge. He's a merciful. He's a just. But there's no compulsion.
See, I'm gonna do something a little bit deeper, man. We always tackle this topic like it's haram, the lifestyle ain't right. You know, we need to find a way to peacefully shut it down. And be honest with you, I want to come from a whole nother angle. Now, I posted on the online Masjid this piece that came out of Indonesia. Now, I've lived in Malaysia, and I can tell you that there's sisters walking around that ain't sisters. Okay? Hijab and everything. I'm talking about men that aren't just living a homosexual lifestyle, but actually living as women, as Muslim women, meaning in the sense that they literally get up in the morning, they go to Quran school, they learn about adab, they learn the hadith, you know, some of them even Hafiz Quran. You know, and when they had the big earthquake down in Indonesia, the group actually went out, group of transvestite men, ladies, that's what they would like to be called, went out and they sat around in Hoka around the devastation and prayed for the people in there until they were freed out. These people have no desire to ever be anything other than what they are. So the question isn't just can we accept, it's the reality is the question I really like to put on the table is, do we have room to even preach against this? Should the masjid cover that, or should the masjid leave their message in such a way where it can be received by everybody and people can basically follow their own path on their own time? And should a brother have a problem with sitting next to a transvestite brother, or, and then here's the big question, do they sit with the brothers or do they sit with the sisters when they come in the door? Now, Brother Abdul Kareem, you got it.
You know not that. So there are three things. Number one, if they got a Johnson, they're a man. Number two, That is Allah's haq, and there is no change in the pattern of Allah creation. Secondarily, Allah says, I gave the rule of mercy, inscribed the rule of mercy to outstrip my justice. So he's clear about the Quran about what these situations are for Muslims who choose to practice it. But those who don't choose to practice it, do what you want to do. Allah is merciful and just. I ain't going to get in your business because I'm not in your heart. It's like the Prophet's companions were fighting a man in war, and the guy gave La ilaha illallah, and then they killed him anyway because the dude was fighting him. And the Prophet asked the person later, did you read his heart? I'm not trying to read their heart. That's for their Lord to do. I'm not trying to get in their business. I'm choosing not to practice that way because that's my walk. That's the road I'm walking on. If they want to walk my road, they need to work to get a wife. They need to not be dealing with men. And alhamdulillah, and I ain't mad at them because Allah's servants are all over the universe in all different ways, jinn and men, non-seen and seen. That's not my business. That's the Rabbil Alameen's business. My business is I'm trying to follow the rule that says don't dress like a woman, which the Prophet said don't dress like a woman, wear men's clothes, only consult with women, stop Allah. And thirdly, stay away from that because Allah can punish you like He punishes things. But I ain't mad at them. I work with people of all different types all the time. I try to give good advice as a neighbor to them because Allah will judge us on our neighbors. Secondly, after our prayers, and keep it moving and invite them to something which is good. So the thing we need to do, like the Christians do, and do a better job at is hook up some of them strong sisters they be having with them butch haircuts, with some of them weak brothers, and maybe they can have some love, and Allah put some love in their heart. Assalamu alaikum.
So
and get them off the non-organic meat, because that's what's causing them to have that problem. The steroids, tumor growth hormone, and antibiotics, like Dr. Al-Qasaka said. You don't need a way to reach them, Adrian. Allah will reach them. Allah puts faith in their hearts. Get out the way of the
Adrian said, I'm going to get Adrian's his minute on the floor. Adrian said, it's a sin, so we need a way to reach them. Though you, let's see, hold on now. Though you would not catch me in this predicament,
inshallah.
I still, inshallah. Hey, listen, I had an uncle say, don't you ever say what you ain't going to do before you die, man. I got a way of making that joint come back up on you so thick, man. We see Brother Adrian, man, he straight be like, hey. I still try to reach every soul because of the reward you get from being someone to the deen. Man, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no idea anymore. I know what Allah subhanahu says is right and wrong. We don't debate that. There's no room for debating that. That's just straight. But at the same time, I'm reminded of this hadith where Rasulullah said that man's judge between right and wrong is so different from Allah's judge between right and wrong that man will take a person that they think that they swear will go to hell. Now I want you to think about a person that you know for a fact. You look at this person, you see everything they do, and you say, that person's going to hell. They going to hell. Ain't no way in God's name you're going to be sitting with me in heaven. And then they take that, but Rasulullah said that person will be destined for heaven. But man will think that that person's destined for hell. And he said they'll take a man that man says is destined for heaven. Now I want you to think, now I'm going to put your mind somewhere. Think about the most shecky of sheck that you can imagine. The guy that you respect completely. The guy that you think the absolute most of. And then remember this part of this hadith. Allah said the man will think that he is destined to go to heaven. I've heard people pray in the Masjid and they belong to certain groups and they'll say such and such is in heaven, such and such is in heaven, such and put me in heaven. But Allah, Rasulullah said those people that he thinks, he swears are in heaven, Allah will have destined and determined they can go nowhere but hell. So man's judgment is so different, man, from what Allah's is that I don't want to be in the realm of judging nobody. It's not my room. You know, I tell you one thing, if the brother, sister, brother Johnson or not, as long as he don't try to operate his Johnson in the way other brothers do, and he all curled up in hijab and everything else and want to be called she, I think he got freedom of choice, man. If he want to go sit in the sister's room, I know one thing, he ain't hitting on my wife, so I ain't worried about it, to be honest with you. But
bruh, I'm gonna say this.
You know, it's a matter of opinion as well.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. He ain't going back there. I'm gonna tell you like this. We had a dude walk in the masjid talking about, I can go drink can read the Quran. I can go to the club and read the Quran and try to walk back in the sisters, and I'll walk his ass outside. And then somebody was like, well, you don't care to do that. I said, yes, I can. He can sit his ass up front. We can give him a bath, give him wudu, shake him up, but he ain't going back there. And if you're tricky is, I'm wetting him up. And I meant it. And they got my point. And me and my
well, you know what Rasulullah said,
we're serious about that. Okay? Because the Prophet said
yes.
that a person does not come in here, a disbeliever, which means they're actively doing something wrong in the house of, let's say, come in fear. Now, Muslim, I guess that's different. Thing. They come in there acting up, we're supposed to put fear. And I definitely can pump some fear.
Adrian says, and I'm speaking for Brother Adrian now, he says, when the Sahaba were walking around in the war saying to those who were martyred, he's a Shaheed, and the Rasul spoke on one and said, no, he will be in the hellfire with the cloak he stole. That's not a direct quote. Brother Adrian is being clear to say, but he's saying that he's paraphrasing the hadith as most of us brothers do.
Get the link first, because, you know, we don't do the paraphrasing out here in the West Coast. We go.
Ah, come on, man.
That's how we roll in the West. We get over a lot of that drama by going to the source. That's why you see me putting links in there, bruh. We roll
now, wait
like
a second. You know that there's a, you know, we talking about the online Masjid. You know, there's a whole movement online to put false links up about the Quran and the Hadith, man. So we don't necessarily know. We got
That's
Brother
why
Michael
we have
Washington.
There's an
just
app
jumped
for
in.
that. We have open source projects that are
Got an app
vetted
for that.
deal with that too.
You know, no, I do creep say that so everybody can hear you, man, because I like people to understand that.
We have projects to show cool sources for the Quran and the Hadith. We don't mess with that. We have straight up sources. Hey, excuse me.
So, Michael Washington, can you test your mic out, man? Let's see if we can hear you. Michael?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, perfect, brother. We can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you. Listen, the topic here, man, and we're in our 5-minute discussion. We're going over a little bit. Got to jump on the next topic. So we're going to jump on the next topic, but I want you to chime in on this one really quick.
Okay.
So what we're talking about here is the brothers, it's gotten down to the point of if you are willing to be open with transvestites in your masjid or homosexual people, should they also have freedom to be that person in the masjid? So if they want to sit on the women's side, they can, you know, or anything else. Should that freedom be allowed, or should there be any problem with it? And what things should we do in the masjid to really try to accommodate the brothers who have chosen a certain type of lifestyle?
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
Come on, Michael, you walking in on a good one, man. Get it out.
God, I don't know about that one. That one's difficult.
I do.
Let's hear it.
Let's give him 1 minute.
There's a quote for this in the Quran.
Let's give him 1 minute, Abdul Kareem. Let's invite him into the room with his 1 minute speech.
No. Let him go. Let him go. No, he's eager. He's eager. Let him go.
I'm gonna tell you. So Allah says in the Quran, rough translation of meaning. I'm gonna get a quote in 1 minute on the link. It says, there are those masjids that are built for faith, and those who built taqwa, and those who built for hypocrisy. You know what the Prophet did with the masjids? Well, I didn't say the Prophet did it, but they combusted. So let them go do that, and the fire for their actions will come to them. I ain't saying do that. I'm saying that's what happened. So let them go do that. Your job is to stay away from that and leave it alone. Allah
so, Brother Michael, I really want to hear you on the debate. And we're going to welcome Sister Leah and Sister Jasira inside of the talk. Do a mic check for us. Go ahead and say something, Sister Leah, please. You're going to have to speak up or turn the volume up on your PC. Brother Michael, go ahead.
I don't know, man. The question I would ask is, are we really in a position to deny someone access to a masjid?
I have no problem with them coming to the masjid. I have a problem with them going sitting back with sisters.
Okay. No, I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, it's simple. I'm not denying. I'm inviting them in. But if I try to walk back with sisters, my mother's going to go upside my head. And she should.
So hold on, let's see if we can get the sisters part inside here. Sister Leah, can we hear you? Can you go ahead and say something? No, hold on. I'm not hearing you. Give me 1 second. Let's see if we can get Sister Leah's voice. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Now, listen, I have to admit something. That's my wife. We're going to get her piece. So I'm going to walk in the other room here and make sure she can be heard. And I'm just going to let Brother Michael, Brother Cream loose. Y'all got 2 minutes, man. Just go ahead and lay it out.
All right, so here's the other question. These are easy solutions.
There we go.
And you're like, come on now. Dude, walk in. You got to go up front. Offer the chair. You ain't got to get all mean with him. Just say, here's a chair. Here's a chair. Would you like a chair up here as our guest? Because he obviously don't know what he's doing. And I don't know about any Masjid, and we're progressive in California and all like that, but they ain't that progressive.
What are we
I mean, they got all these little movements doing all their little things. They got their thing, you know, the ones with the Unitarians being front. When you go in the bathroom, they got the condoms. I ain't going to say more because there's a mixed company here. But let's just say this. Allah is merciful. Hey, you security guard? Hey, can you switch to ESPN1 for the draft?
So we let Abdul Karim get his piece in. Sister Leah, will you chime in on this topic? The topic here is about the topic here is about not really whether or not it's okay, because no one is really debating that brothers who have chosen a certain lifestyle should be excluded from the masjid. The question is should they be free to live that lifestyle within the masjid? So should a brother who's choosing to be a transvestite or homosexual have freedom to sit on the sister side if he'd like to? You know, have freedom to kind of live that out in that space.
No, this ain't no damn democracy.
How would you even know he was a she? I mean,
well, what if he came inside a hijab?
If he came in with a hijab, as far as we know, he's a woman. I mean, how would you know unless you're all up in her face?
The shoulders are wider than the hips.
Exactly.
Unless he's way overweight, the shoulders are wider than the hips, and he got an Adam's apple.
Excuse me, I've seen people who have big shoulders. So you're saying that every woman is shaped in a particular manner? I'm not laughing. How would you even know if the sister was a dude?
Why not? They had 2 on Sunday. They had 2 on Sunday. No, they had 2 on Sunday, bro. Don't tell me that.
I'm not even there.
Well, you know, I don't want to laugh at the brothers' expenses, man. I mean, there's brothers and sisters that have chosen their lifestyle. You know,
hey,
that's on them.
Right,
but I do believe that in a lot of cases it's obvious.
No, it's not.
It's obvious. Not.
So if you see a sister who is a slightly masculine, you're gonna be like, "That's a dude. That's a dude." Who does that?
No, I'm gonna have a sister go talk to him and check him out.
But that's not the.
She got a size 12.5 shoe, wide shoulders, small hips. I'm gonna have a sister go check that out. I'm wise enough to ask a sister to go check that out.
So wait, so what? So what we gonna do is we gonna.
No, well, excuse me. What I'm saying is the appropriate matter is, first of all, no brother should be all up in a sister's face like that. That's number one. You shouldn't know what her hip size are. You shouldn't be able to compare her shoulders to her hip and say, oh, I've already determined that that's a man. So if you maintain a correct adab in the first place, it wouldn't be an issue unless he told.
Actually,
Brother Adrian, I'm gonna speak for Brother Adrian. He says, look, if he said no, we'll all have to come as Allah created us. He said, if I come in the masjid with a hijab for the wrong reasons, would that be okay? Exactly. Go upstairs with the women and sit with the ladies or to the women's side. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't understand Brother Adrian. So I think Brother Adrian is saying that, look, if he snuck into my shit with a kira on, he'd go sit with the sisters anyway.
Yeah.
And nobody would have an idea. So, you know, debating about something, how would you know? How would you know? So, you know,
it should not even be a problem. It should be that if the brother, if we don't know, we put our best construction on it. If he comes in dressed as a woman, who am I to say, oh, you're a dude, go sit with the brothers? That's stuff for love. What if she was born a woman?
Sister.
Now I insulted my fellow Muslim woman for that.
Sister.
If the brother is a transvestite, that's between him and Allah, and that's something that he has to deal with. That he is on the lady's side, or that he changed himself to be a woman. It's not for any of us to sit there and judge the person and say, you're not allowed here because you're a man. What if that man that you called a man is really a woman, and now you insulted a fellow Muslim? So really, it's in the hands of the person. And that's in most cases. You can't go into somebody's face and then say, oh, you're a dude, you can't sit there. Unless the brother outed himself in the masjid and said,
I didn't say that. You actually misspoken what I'm saying, sister. I respectfully listen to you, but I'll tell you 2 reasons why I mentioned that. And I'll give you proof so you can correct it and not correct if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You say if we tell the truth, bring the proof. That's from the Quran. First thing is, 1, Muslim men are qayyamun al-nisa. We're the providers and the protectors of women. And we're providers and protectors of the masjid. So guess what? I'm watching everybody who walk in the masjid. I'm watching everybody who walk in the masjid. We gonna check them out. And secondary, I didn't say go walk up to him. I said
Logic
have a
before.
sister walk
Hey,
back
what are
here
you
and let us
doing,
know
brother?
who's the man or woman.
I'm protecting the masjid. I gotta check that sister out.
But I'm definitely watching. But may Allah reward you though. May Allah reward you, sister. I respect your point of view.
So wait, everybody. Now I'm gonna move the conversation on. I'm gonna remind everybody of our format. So it's getting a little. What we're gonna do is we've got one more topic to put out there, and the last topic here, and these are all discussions on the online masjid that have all been very popular. We got one that had 18 comments. Again, it's one that we plugged out there, and I'm going to read it off. Remember that after I finish reading, everybody has 1 minute to be uninterrupted to give their opinion, and then we have 5 minutes to basically open floor to discuss. And it goes like this. There's a brother in a nearby community that is 40 years old and has been married 43 times. He now has over 13 children and is currently single. He is only one of many brothers and sisters who use the internet to misrepresent themselves to other Muslim men and women for the sake of a quick marriage. On one occasion, a brother working at a call center and who has genital herpes told a sister that he was a doctor in order to solidify a marriage. That was done over the telephone with a witness and an imam. He traveled to see the sister and consummated the marriage. The next morning, he abandoned her and gave her a divorce. The sister found out she not only was pregnant, but she permanently contracted genital herpes. Now, I married my wife within a month of meeting her, and I have been extremely happy for the last 7 years. I'm not knocking going ahead and getting married. I'm not knocking getting married on meeting your wife or husband online. I'm addressing people who are known to be internet marriage stalkers. Should the online masjid create a blacklist for these people, creating a list of predators with good development of the list? It would be such that the first page search of the person's name on any search engine will produce their blacklist listing. So we're going to go the other way around. I'm going to start with Brother Mike, and we're going to give you the floor first, my dear brother, and then we're looking for your opinion on this subject. 1 minute.
How is it that you would actually, arrive to the conclusion that someone has committed this crime? I mean, you're going to have to, investigate that objectively and not just rely on someone's testimony, on one person's testimony on that. That's something that you could, just through rumors. How would you account for someone that's upset with that person and then just spreading rumors around that's not even true? So you'd have to go through a process of investigation, and then you'd actually have to, actually go through a trial of some sort. For that to even be kind of fair. But I don't see that being practical.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice idea. That's a horrible thing. That's a horrible thing to be happening. But I don't see how you would be able to fairly administer a blacklist.
10 seconds.
But that's it.
So, Brother Amir, do you have your mic working?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Brother Amir, did you hear the topic?
No, sir. I just got in. I just clicked in.
Well, we're speaking of a blacklist for people who are known internet predators when it comes to marrying brothers or sisters by falsely representing themselves online. in an attempt to try to stop them from marrying people and leading them down, basically being dishonest with them. And whether that online blacklist is a good idea. And we spoke of a situation where a brother has 43 wives, has had 43 wives. He's been married 43 times. And we also spoke of a brother who traveled and gave a sister genital herpes and got her pregnant within one day because he misrepresented himself online. So.
Based off of what you just told me right there, and I know that some of the stuff goes on in the community, I think it's very important to have a blacklist. Just as long as people are not being put on that blacklist because the other person was bitter because the person that put them on the list, you may have that too. But if the person shows to be someone that is dishonest, themselves, definitely they need to be more successful. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You might want to try to speak up a little bit. Amir?
Yes.
You might want to try to speak up a little bit. I'm not sure if everybody heard you completely.
Hold on, let me check. Hold on.
While he's doing that, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying,
tell me when it's my turn to get in on this.
Based off of what you just told me about the different and what goes on in the community, it's very important to have a blacklist.
Everybody can mute themselves.
However, the blacklist can be manipulated, abused, depending on who's putting that other party on that blacklist. Because you have people who may become bitter because you say a brother or sister doesn't want to be with that other brother and sister, so they may say, you know what, this person is dishonest, this, that, and the third. Let me put him on this blacklist so that so that he can't be with anybody else, or so that she can't be without anybody else. It's a touchy subject, but I know there used to be a website. I forgot the name of it, but I can't think of the name of the website. It was a website where people would put their ex-girlfriends or boyfriends, baby daddies, baby mothers on complete blast on the internet. And then, from state to state, you can go and look it up. You can look up which state it is, and then the person's information will show up, their name or whatever, and it'll say John Doe. John Doe is a deadbeat dad. John Doe gave me herpes, this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be. And this is on the internet. I want to open it. Everybody can see it. I can see where it could be beneficial, and I can also see where the character information given is not true. But that's what you have to worry about. Truthful information. That's all I have to say, really. Hello?
I'm having some technical difficulties right now. I'll get back to y'all in a moment.
Were you able to hear me?
I can hear you. Hey, I'm going to speak on this blacklist stuff. First thing, I'm not for any list that's negative that's called black. I'm going to start there. So let's call it a white list. Secondarily.
So let me get Adrian's comment in real quick so we can get it on that. Let's say, at least he did not commit adultery. Now the liar with the disease should be dealt with. But the guy who marries and divorces and the woman who thought he was the right one is on her and on her wali for not investigating deeper. So brother Adrian is saying that it should be left in the hands of the wali for not doing their job on their end. And brother Abdul Kareem, we're going to give you the floor for a minute, brother. Go ahead. Brother Abdul Kareem? Abdul Kareem? There you go. Oh, now Kareem is having some difficulties.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's cool. There he is. I just didn't press the button. I got to come in on this. I come in. So first thing is, one, I have two sisters. They're both married. I investigated. The reality is, at the end of the day, You can only do so much. I believe when you get married, women and men should put up their background history. I think they should both take a blood test because they could end up being related and not even know it. Go 23andMe DNA test. I don't. If you can afford it, do it. You may end up being a third cousin, second cousin, first cousin. You never know. In America today, especially in the black community, you never know who your sister or cousin, whatever. A lot of those best. I ain't gonna try to slander nobody. I'm just saying. A lot of people don't have family like that. So I would say to you, the issue is if you know somebody got a problem like that, we'll address them with it. Also, you have to be careful though, because there's a couple of times I've been in a situation where it came up later. The sister was the one hustling. Sister was the one slandering. Just like brothers do a lot of dirt, sisters doing it too. They're all human beings. May Allah forgive them both and guide them all. Forgive us. But you should have a process like we do pre-marriage counseling, where that is done by the community, where they introduce and they get their background checked. Because otherwise, you're going to have people preying on the community of both types and both sexes. In fact, like we were talking about earlier, there are going to be some third sexes too trying to come in and switch it up. So alhamdulillah.
So, Sister Leah, you got the floor, and we're looking for you. You got your 60 seconds.
Yeah, I do agree with Brother Kramer what he was saying as far as the community coming together and helping the Muslim potential husbands and wives have counseling and getting to know the people. And I also agree as far as the couples doing their due diligence and finding out who these people are. But one of the problems that I have with our community is that when a brother does something, or a sister for that matter, when they do something wrong, they're not dealt with properly. There's no way that that brother should have continued marrying 40 women. 40 women? Really? After, if you saw a brother who was married after 2 weeks and then divorced and married to another person, if there was a mom in the community, should have checked that. And then if he did it again, you saw 4 or 5 times, somebody should have checked it and said, sound like brother, something's going on. If you constantly see someone having continuously marrying someone and divorcing them and marrying, because it's obvious in the community, and I'm sure this brother had a community, that should have been checked. And if a woman was doing it, that should have been checked. No one should be able to run random and just keep constantly having marriages back and forth. So one of our problems in our community is everyone trying to mind their business and saying, oh, it's not me, I'm going to mind my business. That has nothing to do with me. We need to do a better job at pulling our brothers and sisters' coattails. That, to me, that it went too far with the 40 wives. But I do. So
here's 10 seconds. I'm sorry.
In the wife, the potential wife, and the potential husband doing due diligence.
So here's the open. We're going into the open discussion, and what I'd like to do is add a layer into this, because Adrian says when someone is that excessive, they should have looked into that, right? So we're gonna add something into that, right? The question is, this is a problem. This is something wrong, and this is not the first brother. And by the way, the brother with the 43 wives was the same brother with the herpes. So the sister who contracted herpes was actually sister number 20. The sisters after that all have herpes as well. So the idea is, how do we stop this? And that's this 5 minutes open discussion. What can the Masjid do to stop this from happening? Anybody can take the floor.
Well, I'm gonna take the floor right now. No,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna take the floor right now. First of all, First of all, what can the community do? The community can make sure that this doesn't continue happening. Like I said, the check. What happens now is that brother that was 21 women later, she's getting married again, and she's spreading that to other brothers that she married. So this here we're starting an epidemic. It's an epidemic of women and or men who are spreading sexual diseases within our community. Whereas our community, we're supposed to be, marriage in itself is supposed to stop sexual diseases. Be the cure for all the go ahead, because my daughter's bothering me right now.
Go ahead, Abdul Kareem. Go ahead and jump in on that one, brother. I know you
Right,
itching, Abdul
get in
Kareem.
on
Go ahead and
that?
jump in.
All right, cool. Go in on this. First thing I'm gonna say is this. First thing, if you have a process where you have community, they're supposed to step up on it. And that's on the brothers. Sisters can deal with the sisters. They supposed to say, bro. In fact, we had a situation where brother was accused of having herpes, whatever it was, by the ex-wife. We investigated that. We found out it wasn't true with a doctor check. Then she was addressed. There was another situation. I'm not just saying this. I'm just saying it because, you know, it was two situations we checked, and a sister was doing fraud in the name of her husband, who was a imam, and in prisons. He was there sometime. Now, we looked into it because she was accusing him of doing things like putting hands on her. We found out later she was putting hands on him and doing fraud. So you got to be careful before you just knee-jerk react. And he was an ex-powerlifter. He was a good-hearted brother. So, you know, you have to be careful. And the sisters helped us let him know what was really going on. Because he didn't want to say nothing. So before you react to what you're told, check. Before you get upset, check. Sometimes it be different than you think it is.
So, look, Kareem, are you saying that, man, look, because the idea is that, you know, from a Masjid standpoint, should we actually be putting together some kind of service or something like that, man?
Well, we do
and you know what, hold on,
before I talk. We do that in the West Coast.
Before I toss mine in, I'm going to let the young sister that took Sister Leah's place chime in and get her opinion on it. Sister Jasira, what's your opinion?
Can I finish asking the question first and then let her get her opinion?
Now, that's a young sister that hasn't been messed around with nobody. What's her opinion? All of us, we old fuddy duddies.
Yeah, I'm going to take my rights. So you ask the question.
Okay. You shutting down the little
and
girl?
Then I'll shut up quickly, sister. Sorry. Yeah. So here's the thing. We do that. You can't just get married up in a mess out here. We ain't just doing the thing. You walk up. I don't know who you are. I don't know who she is. We're going to put a name. We go through a process out here in the West Coast. We find out who you are. Find out what's up. We'll help you with the maher. We find out if you got a job, if you need a job. If you got a house, you need a house. That's a part of the process as Muslims you're supposed to know anyway. And when you just do it in marriage like it's half your deen, it's easy to just throw it up like a Happy Meal. That's why you get Happy Meal results.
Yeah, Sister Jasira, go ahead and chime in. The camera's on you. Well, Sister Ma, go ahead. You have an opinion?
I think that
now, the reality is that you how old are you?
15.
So you haven't been married yet. There's people out there who would marry you and lie to you. You know some people like this. What would you ask the community to do to make it easy for you to get married without having to run into one of these types of brothers?
Do a background check. Tell me all the information like you got, like previous wives. I want the previous wife to tell me information if she knows anything about what he's been doing, if he's been, you know, lying, if he has done anything that might, you know, do something to me, then I would like information about that particular thing. Because
that's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Brother Michael. Brother Michael. Can we hear you? Can you hear us? Okay. As soon as you get your mic in, jump in now. So I'm about to close this out because unless Brother Amir is in there and see if he has something to say on this topic at all. And I'm going to read Brother Adrian's post. He pointed down to the post. Thank you, Brother Adrian, for the cue. First of all, he said that's 43 beautiful women now all have an issue. And he also said Wali needs to be more investigative. You have to be more careful in your selection and not starving to get married, but prepared for when marriage comes. Now, I think that we all agree that the idea is that the Islamic structure of an emir is the ultimate protection for women against people stalking them online or with lie to them. And in that, I'm actually going to end this debate. We've actually been in here for a little over an hour, y'all. And I want to take the time to really thank absolutely everybody in the debate. I've enjoyed it for myself, Brother Adrian, Brother Abdul Kareem, Brother Amir, Brother Brother Michael, and Brother Khalil, everyone else who's joined in. I really appreciate meeting. This is the first time I got to talk to anybody, and it's wonderful that we're on different sides of this country and we're able to discuss this thing that is so important and significant to us. The online masjid is trying to solve the problem. We are trying to figure out how to reach brothers and sisters where they are via the internet and figure out the best way to do that. So we're going to have another one of these debates, and I would pray that we come prepared with our mics working. Brother Adrian, with the mics working. And then, after that, so we can carry on this debate. Remember that whatever we come up with together as a community, I will personally take and commit the resources to building it out and making it a reality so our community can benefit from it. So the online masjid will be real as long as we figure out what it should be. And for that, I thank everybody, and I end this off, this debate, this grand debate, online #1 for the online masjid, with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm guessing from Brother Adrian that was wa alaikum salam. I'm reading this.
Save this on YouTube as an on-air. Save this on YouTube. We'll retweet it.
It's on YouTube, and I'm going to post a link, by the way, on the online masjid right now.